Thank you. Welcome to the meeting of the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board of Trustees. Today is November 16th, 2022. Mr. Mooney, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? The board did meet in closed session this evening and took no reportable action in closed session. Superintendent Geisels, I understand we are going to make a couple of changes to this evening's agenda.
Yes, President Zirk, we are. For example, item 10.0, recognition of contribution to educational community. We have some members who are being recognized tonight that have class tonight. So out of consideration for that, we'd like to move them before 7.0, public comment, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
And also, we would like to pull item 13.2, the second grant listed. That grant, we found out, thanks to Ms. Rachel Falk, that it was not approved by Martis Camp. So therefore, we're going to pull it.
Okay, terrific. Any questions on that from board members? Would someone like to move approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the noted changes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, great. So the first order of business is to recognize our first group of graduates of About the Community Interpreter class. Superintendent Geisels.
Yes, and I'd like to turn this over to our Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Ms. Kirsten Kramer.
Good evening. We're very excited to recognize our first group of graduates from our interpreter program. And I'm going to invite Barbara Kane to come up. Barbara is going to explain what our graduates learned and all that they had to do to earn this recognition. Barbara.
And I wrote it down because I was going to forget half of the things that I wanted to say. My name is Barbara Kane, and I'm the Coordinator of Translations and Bilingual Community Services for TTUSD. Thank you for the time and the opportunity to be here today. I'm here to share the fantastic program we offer to our staff, families, and community. Interpreting takes place in many settings and for many reasons, yet at heart, the purpose of interpreting is to facilitate communication between parties who do not share a common language. Trained, qualified interpreters faithfully interpret to all parties without adding, omitting, or changing the message. And yet, their professionalism enables not only direct communication, but also supports communication autonomy. What is communication autonomy? The capacity for each party in an encounter to be responsible for and in control of his or her own communication. A school interpreter's training, knowledge, and cultural sensitivity remove bias and helps reduce the trauma and anxiety of any situation. It helps build trust between the student, family, and school personnel. Having a professionally trained interpreter gives parents equal access to the information they need in a manner that is understood in their language. It also gives the parent real-time access and participation in any discussion. The Community Interpreter Program, TCI, is the only national training program in the U.S. for community interpreters and the leading program for medical interpreters. Highly interactive and skill-based while incorporating the latest advances in the field. It is designed to be delivered as a 40 or a 60-hour certificate program. It also has been adapted for longer programs by colleges and universities. TCI can be given as a medical interpreting program geared for educational, social services, and general community interpreting. That flexibility is unique among foundation programs for community interpreters. This program has been developed by Cross Cultural Communications. TCI has more than 400 licensed trainers in 43 U.S. states, Guam, and 6 other countries. As a coordinator of translations and bilingual community services, I became a licensed trainer in 2021, taught my first class during August and September, and we have our first graduating class with us today, 42 TTUSD employees. In collaboration with Dr. Todd Wall and the Tahoe Truckee Community Adult Education, we will provide this training to bilingual adults in the community starting in January. The goal of this program is to accomplish the following: close the gap in skills, employment, and equity around accessing community resources, provide language access to the wide range of services our community has available, boost equity and impact to the TTUSD Community Adult School, increase diversity in the workplace, support the most underserved population within our community, address shortfalls in the workforce by providing access to jobs that they can lead to family sustainable wages. The next class will start in January 2023, and we already have 8 students registered with the anticipated class of 15 students, and they're all members of the community. Today, with all of you, I would like to take this opportunity and want to call up our exceptional students and our first group of trained community interpreters. Angelica Stone. Andrea Fernandez Landa. Mayra Plasencia. And Milagros Carreno.
You can do it with or without the board.
We do it with the board.
Let's do it, okay.
That'd be great. And Barbara, okay, jump in there in person. We need Galen's head to be like. Oh, you want to go together? Congrats.
If I may, Superintendent Geisel, also just recognize Barbara Kane for her dedication and
Hands down. And Mr. Wool, thank you for enjoying us in this journey starting in January. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yep, thank you. It's one of the amazing programs we have our adult education here at Tahoe Truckee. Okay, so now we'll move to public comment. So this is the opportunity for anyone who would like to make a comment on anything that's not on this evening's agenda. If you have a comment on something that is on the agenda, we'll ask you to wait to that agenda item. If there's any public comment? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment. And then next we get to hear from a student representative.
Yes, we were remiss last board meeting. We did not have Truckee High School here. So what we'd like to do is have Truckee High join us this evening, and they're going to give their report.
Yay! Is the green light on? Perfect.
It is now.
Okay.
It is now. Okay. Hi, my name is Julia Egan, and I'm senior class president at Truckee High School. Thanks. We have had a great start to the year. It's been pretty busy, but overall really fun. Starting off in October, we had our homecoming dance, and we had a really great turnout, so that was awesome. We then held a college fair in our West Wing on October 6th, and we had multiple schools come and multiple grades, so that was awesome. And then we had our earthquake drill on October 20th to make sure everyone knows the safety rules. Our fall sports celebrated all our senior farewells between October 14th and the 22nd. And we held our annual breast cancer awareness and Pink Day on October 25th, where we collected spare change and any donations to go towards the cause. Our staff participated in ALICE training on our minimum day, and that was another big thing to go over. And then we had our midterm exams on the 27th and the 28th of October, and started our new term the following Monday. We had the opportunity to teach our students what good sportsmanship looks like, and we had our admin support us, which was awesome and set good examples for us. Tennis went on to states October 29th, and our girls team finished in second. I'm not so sure how the boys team did. We had our Halloween rally and costume contest, and that's always a huge highlight and super fun. And our theme was Stranger Things, if any of you watch that show and care at all. And then last weekend we had our playoffs for our sports. So football hosted Elko for the second round of playoffs, and they won, which was awesome. And our girls soccer team placed second in our region. That was a hard game. Our cross-country team also went to states in Las Vegas, and they did great. And our volleyball team had their regional tournament as well, where I think they placed second. We just started our annual food and coat drive, and that will run until the end of November, and all of our donations are going to the Sierra Community House to serve our local community. Then we had the day off on November 11th to honor our veterans. And some more sports. Our girls soccer team placed second in the state, also against Hug, so that was awesome. And our football team beat the defending champions of Moapa this weekend, and now they're preparing for their state championships in the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium on the 21st, so that's huge for them. Our robotics team is hosting a competition on November 19th, and this week all our winter sports started their tryouts and started practice this week, and we are off for Thanksgiving break the 23rd through the 27th, and we end November off with our blood drive on November 30th. We've set up our table to get our sign-ups and make sure everyone knows what to do there. And lastly, we would like to thank the school board and superintendent, hopefully I don't butcher this, Geisels, for all your guys' support of our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we wish the Wolverines the best of luck next week.
Okay. Superintendent Chief Learning Officers update for the board.
So, you're not going to like me for this. Tonight is the last regularly scheduled board meeting of Trustee Larson, and the last regular scheduled board meeting that President Zurich will preside as president, regularly scheduled. Both Kim and Galen started serving on the Tahoe Truckee Unified School District Board of Education on December 8, 2010. That means that over their 12 years of service, they've each attended more or less 288 board meetings. They've shown tremendous dedication, professionalism, compassion throughout that time. Each of them has played an integral role in guiding district policy, maintaining physical health and solvency through the transparent and rigorous decision-making process. Both have been laser-focused on what is best for our students, for our district, and both now are in preparation, and also in preparation for our students' futures. They have truly advocated and supported even the most vulnerable in our community. During their tenure, and with their support and advocacy, Measures E and U both passed in 2014. Each allowed TTUSD to spend funds to improve, renovate, and update facilities within our district. This includes upgrades to school building systems, technology infrastructure, modernizing classrooms, upgrading student safety, campus security, and improving student support facilities, just to name a few. Measure A was renewed in 2011, and then again, Measure AA in 2018. This partial tax funding continues to ensure enormous education programs offered throughout the district that aren't covered under basic state funding. Science, music, art, PE, technology, college prep, honors, advanced placement classes, vocational education, retaining librarians, counselors, and nurses, maintaining funding for school equipment and supplies. TTUSD also has continued to make tech upgrades throughout the district. This includes the One Device Per Student initiative, which has greatly contributed to the district's ability to pivot quickly at the beginning of COVID-19. TTUSD is also a founding member of the Childhood Truckee Workforce Housing Agency, beginning with participation in 2017, per board direction. The agency was formed to support workforce housing development for member agencies, and this is a really relevant cause to do this to this day. TTUSD has increased the number of AP courses and CT pathways at our high schools. We've implemented scratch cooking and healthy meals for all students through our food services program. So, on behalf of the entire Truckee Unified School District, I would like to thank you both for your service, your leadership, your professionalism, your wisdom, your sanity, and your tireless dedication to our students, our staff, and our parents. It has truly been an honor working with both of you.
This is kind of out of order, but would you like to say anything? No?
I will after you do.
Okay. I'll keep it short. It's been an honor of a lifetime, and I said this to some of the staff last night, to serve on this board. And I will really miss the people, but I'm so proud of the dedicated adults that serve the children of our community. I'm daily, we just saw it, daily in awe of what we do for the kids and the adults of our community. So I'm going to miss it. I'm going to be happy. My family's pretty happy. I made a really great friend here, but in particular, Galen and I it's been an amazing 12 years. So thank you all, and I know the great work is going to continue, so thank you. You made me cry earlier.
Yeah.
We love you, Galen.
Yeah, this is tough. Thank you. This is the best job I've ever had. Pretty late in career, but it was the best job. Seeing the kids, I don't have any grandchildren. I have 4,000 of them. And just seeing them, 12 years we've seen them go from kindergarten to 12th grade. And it's just wonderful. Yeah, but the best thing was working with such a dedicated group of people, singularly focused on students. And so that was easy. If you're all pulling in the same direction, it's just wonderful. And so I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss all the stories my wife and I rehash every meeting. And so we may not have much to talk about. But thank you. And I'm going to miss Kim the most. Yeah.
Thank you. We can still do our lunches.
At the high school.
At the high school, that's right.
We're still letting in.
Okay, so now we get to hear about Sierra High School. I'm so excited.
It is my distinct pleasure to introduce Mr. Greg Woolman, the principal of Sierra High School, who's trying to make me laugh from the back of the room.
I heard your boss really compacted your time.
You said 3 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello? Is this good? Okay. It's about my first time reading with these new glasses. It's like a superpower. I have like 3 different ways to see things now. Okay, good evening, everybody. Just a reminder that our continuation high school in TTUSD is a model continuation high school and is WASC accredited. To maintain this status, we must submit WASC reports and go through that process just like other high schools in our district, and then a lengthy and separate report and site visit to maintain our model school status. Oh. Whoopsie. How about that? But it's always easy at Sierra High School because every morning I show up for work, it looks just like this. When we analyze what our school needs, we understand that we have an incredibly important need to maintain our supplemental curriculum and course offerings not offered at other sites as we continue to enroll students needing partial credits and students that have not performed well in traditional course offerings. Some of you may know what this looks like or what this is. While Sierra Continuation High School recognizes the importance of the California School Dashboard performance indicators, these measures continue to be statistically insignificant and do not lead us to school improvement or sustaining school success. Additionally, as you can see, we do not get much of our data from the dashboard as it's blank. We find these data ranges, or these ranges of data, not applicable to individual student growth models that would outline what occurs at Sierra High School, and we are actively engaged in finding the data points that best reflect the learning in our buildings. So where did we go? Alternative accountability. It's fabulous, I know. As some of our board members seated here today were the same board members that gave me permission long ago to go down this path of alternative accountability, I thank you. I haven't come back. To all the board members, I thank you, and to Galen and Kim, thank you. And let's run through this together one more time. And remember, it's not about not being held accountable, it's about being held accountable for everything from point of contact to point of exit. You've seen this chart before a long time ago. When we looked at our data through a traditional lens, we realized that it lacks statistical significance, or we need to dive deeper into the data that we can see to truly uncover what it is and what is not at Sierra High. So when we look at chronic absenteeism, here we can see that a large percentage of our students at Sierra High School are chronically absent, but by looking further, they are enrolling at Sierra High School already chronic and have a chronically absent past. So here we dissect it further. Here's a breakdown of the percentage of that chronic rate. So for example, last year, 7 students missed 25 to 30% of their schooling, and 7 more students missed 10 to 19% of their schooling at a previous school. And just another note there, once you're chronic, you can't become unchronic unless there's more time in the school year. So a lot of times we enroll the kids that are already chronic. So when we dive in again, which one reason do you think causes most absences? This is our student survey, getting answers back from them. Illness, anxiety, and depression, and too tired were the top 3 reasons that students gave for missing school at Sierra High over the past 5 years. We are closely monitoring anxiety and depression categories. We believe that many absences labeled under illness were contributed to by anxiety and depression. When we get into discipline referral data, here we can see that as the year progresses, our students are following the school creed more closely. The outlier data column that you see is our return to in-person instruction. Isn't that outstanding? What we see in this chart above is that the discipline referrals had a drop in the second semester as our students became stronger students and they became more focused on graduation. They finally believed that they could graduate, and many started thinking about plans beyond high school that they had abandoned years ago. It is a huge mental shift for them. Many students in regular, normal situation talk about dreams and events after high school even before they enter the 3rd and 4th grade. and this conversation never stops. Many of our students have not talked about post-secondary plans since elementary school, and finally return to those talks around November of their school year, of their senior year, which is now. This mental switch state of mind has a huge psychosocial emotional toll. It brings excitement, disbelief, self-sabotage, anger, and a numbing sensation with questions like, but now I don't know what to do, Mr. Woolman, now that I know I really could do something or do anything. So referrals by infraction type, if we break it down again, referrals are created when students are not following the school creed. This graph shows the dominant numbers of referrals for not engaging in their education for 4 consecutive years. We believe this comes from ingrained past habits of not engaging in school. That's not a surprise. Another point to call out is that you would think that in a continuation high school, a norm would be that class disruption would be so high with discipline that allowing others to learn in the far right-hand column would be high on the chart. Not for Sierra High School students. They respect each other more than any other school I've ever overseen as a principal. When we look at this graph, we look at another lens. So this graph shows that even though we have a high number of referrals for a group of like the top 9 offenders, so to say, over 52% of the referrals were given to the top 9 students the past 5 years. In a win for Sierra High School this year, we are proud to report that we only have 15 discipline referrals this year. If this rate continues, we will have 180 less referrals this year than last year. So we'll just stop writing them, we'll hit that goal. Here we can see another data chart that was consistent through the years, the spike last year in our percentages of those the same top 9 earners of referrals. This leads us to a continuous conversation that we cannot say all students at Sierra High School are the same or they're behaving the same way. It's simply not true. So even when we get frustrated sometimes, it's like it's not all students, it's just those 9. So when we look at suspension data, concerning student suspensions, 53 suspensions were given during 2016 and 17. Only 12 students were responsible for all of those 53 suspensions. In 21-22, when behavior was a massive concern in education, we had 4 suspensions earned by 3 students. When we look at graduation rate, I have to talk faster, so hang with me. Graduation rate, last year we were proud to report our highest graduation rate at Sierra High School ever, and yes, that's a real ever. This rate is 4 points above the national average. Thank you, I just added more time. So Sierra High School averages close to 25% each year of students enrolled in a class at Sierra College. If we break it down further, of those students completing a college course, see the results there, but how does this fit into attendance and wellness? I think it comes down to, hey, I will be able to graduate now since my college class is counting towards TTUSD graduation, or hey, I'm a college student now, they talk better, they feel better, they like, I can really do this. Hey, I can really do this. Can I take another college class? It's an amazing thing to hear. I think I lost power. Oh, there we go. Has your attitude changed about reading since you began leisure reading at Sierra High School? Leisure reading is our daily reading program for 25 minutes every morning. We now have 5 years of data for the same survey question. This is answers coming back from our students. We now have 5 years of data for the same survey question. We're averaging over 78.4% positive responses, and more importantly, a high percentage of those positive responses prove that students are beginning to read for the first time in many years and are also able to build the reading stamina in multiple subjects and on multiple campuses, such as Sierra College. It is easy for us to make these connections because of our high rate of enrollment at Sierra College and capturing their rate of credit earning at Sierra High School from point of contact to point of exit, which we don't have time to get into tonight. Students are moving from non-readers to engaging as a reader to a confident student and an active participant in their learning and future. These are some quotes in here from what our students are saying, and year after year, these quotes maintain similarity. there. I mean, they're worded a bit different, but their message is the same. I feel, sorry, I missed a slide. I need to go back one here. These direct quotes are from students that were asked to submit their thoughts anonymously about their own reading and how that has changed since attending Sierra High. It is significant that regardless of our population, the answers each year in our student survey remain similar. While a few students report about how the school supports their already present love for reading, scores of students report the beginning and evolution of their love and appreciation for reading, becoming a reader, and making a direct connection to reading and knowledge. Additionally, we have noticed that each year, students talk about not being tested in their reading program. This was a gamble that we made many years ago, and we wondered what will make the student follow the school policy of all students reading every day. Consistently, the answer is that students build their reading stamina. It relates to all subjects. Connections are made through earning credits in high school and making plans for post-secondary education or training, and then become capable readers in all subjects. This was one that we're especially proud of. Over the last 6 years, students report an average rate of over 99% that they strongly agree that they feel safe in our school. Sierra Continuation High School continues to remain adaptable and innovative in the face of an ever-changing student population. Each school year brings a new set of challenges that it can interfere with students being successful. The consistency of the discipline data and the student survey data with ever-changing students is a very telling group of statistics. Notice that the curve and slope of data that we've shared tonight stays the same, similar on our data charts, regardless of our clientele. Is that not fascinating? This helps prove the validity of alternative accountability. We need to remain innovative in our responsive curriculum, supplemental curriculum, and continue to collaborate around solutions and identify data points that support best practices and show us that we need to reevaluate our actions. Sierra High has made several adjustments to ensure and maintain the positive results that you see above. It is our belief that our wellness program, student incentive, student to staff ratio, and staff awareness of individual academic and social emotional needs all contribute to drive the positive data presented. Almost 100% of our students report over a 6-year period that they agree or strongly agree that Sierra High School gives them what they need to grow as a person. Isn't that what all parents want for their children? Coldstream Alternative, yes, a different school. Reminder about Coldstream Alternative, this too is a WASC accredited school, and all 4 of your high schools in TTUSD have a 6-year clear WASC accreditations. Coldstream is a true California independent study school that offers one-on-one instruction from a teacher to a student. Coldstream also offers 5 AP courses, and students can attend Coldstream by enrolling 1 class or attend full-time and go straight into a university. The next slides will show us some of our enrollment data to help see our numbers and locations of students. Good, there it is. This is a historical chart that we have kept for many years. You may remember seeing this long ago. To document the swing of full-time independent studies versus the single subject independent studies students. So those of you that have been on the board for a long time, you've seen the change. The spikes in red that you see are when teachers started taking groups of students, but that is not effective in our model and not what Coldstream is designed to do. Where you see it balance out in 21-22 is more accurate, as most of our teachers are not at Coldstream full-time. They do travel between at least 2 or 3 school sites. This does affect our enrollment numbers. We do run at capacity at Coldstream, and we do turn away students each year, and we receive requests throughout the school year for enrollment. If we break that down further, here we've taken our enrollment data and displayed enrollment by grade, with our older students dominating the enrollment. Single subject class by school. Here we can see enrollment by school, with North Tahoe High School holding a majority of their enrollment. That was based on the beginning of their ski program a long time ago, and that's just helped sustain that. We break it down further. These are seniors taking single subjects Coldstream courses. This is what a snapshot looks like for seniors only. This one, a little laborious to read, but if you can dig in and then just tone me out, it'll work out well. As we continue to dive into Coldstream academic data to meet our school and WASC goals, we found this enrollment data set interesting. Not only does this data show students who continue to use Coldstream for multiple years, the data also shows how many students at school sites are graduating with Coldstream credits on their transcript on graduation day. Coldstream also offers an option for students enrolled at a traditional site to take an additional AP college course outside of their regular full schedule to become even more competitive for college admissions. We will continue to pull this data each year as it demonstrates the significant impact of Coldstream on our graduates in TTUSD at all high schools. Sierra High also uses Coldstream in a blended model, as we do schedule students who have more schedule flexibility into Coldstream, and at times Sierra High has graduates with CSA credits also, Coldstream credits. At graduation, this is the key point, at graduations district-wide in 2022, Coldstream is the silent partner supporting over 62 TTUSD graduates. Additionally, our AP students in Coldstream continue to do very well and pass the AP test at high rates. Something we will also look into in the near future is students graduating from traditional high schools with Coldstream courses on their transcripts that have been accepted into two or four-year post-secondary institutions, and of those, how many have scholarships to do so? I have a feeling that data will be telling of the continued positive impact of Coldstream Alternative on our graduates far beyond TTUSD. I'll just end there.
Thank you, Mr. Woolman. Impressive as usual. Sierra High School is like all of our schools. I'm so proud of what you've done for your kids. So questions? Questions, board members? Comments? I know.
Come on, Galen, give me one.
Dee Dee?
No, I was just going to make a comment. I'm really excited that we're actually doing this, so thank you very much for getting didn't we start off with you at one point? I think that was we started off with you with your presentation. So
That's when he was going to charge on the highway to
Yep.
build his new campus. He was going to put the traffic
How are we
stop.
going to get money?
Tomorrow night's meeting with the city, it's still going to happen.
Okay.
No, it's fun. I will say, though, the comment you made about having the kids feel like that was the safest place, I think it does speak volume for that, because when I was there the other day, some of the kids, that's what they said is this is my happy place. So that's awesome. They didn't say anything about school, like they didn't get any education, but
No,
that was
nothing to do with
yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Are we doing comments or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Greg, as always, I just really wanted to commend you for your creative approach towards method evaluation, because I know that it's very difficult to capture the type of data that you're wanting to share with us, but you've really taken an innovative approach to be able to paint the picture very clearly. And your population and your demographic of students is very unique and also very difficult to profile. So you've done a really good job at making every single student, I think, an individual person instead of just a data set. And it's really wonderful to see your success over time and to see the enrollment also increasing to help kids be successful with whatever model that they choose, regardless of their background.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What is your enrollment right now
Which school?
at Sierra?
Sierra High School, it's lower than it's been in a long time, about 34 right now. It might be, 35 tomorrow.
Right, I mean, I know.
But we're getting more and more phone calls. One thing that reduced that, usually you run about 52, 54, but over a year, we'll see almost 100. So if you walk in the school in April or walking into in October or April, there might still be 54 students there, but there's not exactly a different 54, but there's a large percentage of different students. When we had the COVID restrictions and we went by space and like 6 feet apart, it just capped our enrollment super tight. And even though that's been released for a long time, some of our natural enrollment had stopped but now it's starting to come back, so I wouldn't be surprised if I don't take 10 or 12 more students in the next month or so.
Great, thank you.
So I would just, like always, want to just thank you for running such a fabulous school. And because I can't keep up with that is why, with the speed of everything, is why I like going into your school site. I've been there twice already this year. I'm going to come after the holidays, since you've given us an open invitation to do the, I don't want to mislabel what that time is called, so I'll let you say it, when your students gather in the morning or after lunch.
In the morning, we have a school meeting. In the afternoons, 2 days a week, we do a Panther meeting for all of our students to come together. Yeah.
Right, so after the holidays, you have my word, I'll be there.
Great.
God willing. The highlight of my year, and I've said this before, is always your literacy circle event that you host here. And it's my favorite thing ever. Just seeing, my daughter's a non-reader. Unfortunately, she doesn't love to read, right? And when I come to those circles and I hear the progress that your students have made in their own words, it just really touches me. And I know Jill Zapata is a big part of that, encouraging them, so kudos to her. But that's just a wonderful event, and I'm just very happy that that is back in action after COVID, that you're continuing to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Greg. Very much appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Woolman.
Okay. Next, we are going to recognize National Special Education Day and Special Educator Appreciation with a resolution.
All right. Board of Trustees, community. National Special Education Day is observed annually on December 2nd. This day marks the anniversary of our nation's first federal special education law, which was signed by President Gerald Ford on December 2nd, 1975. This law made education available to all American children identified with a disability, and it provided the foundation for the highly specialized and inclusive programs that we have today. The Tahoe Truckee Unified School District would like to take this opportunity to formally acknowledge our team of amazing special educators by recognizing December 2nd, 2022 as our second observance of Special Education Day and designating the week of December 2nd through 6th as Special Educator Appreciation Week. It is staff's recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution 10-22-23, recognizing National Special Education Day and Special Educator Appreciation Week.
Any board questions? Any public comment on this resolution? Yep, please. Okay, board comments.
I just wanted to acknowledge the special education staff at North Tahoe, because I know that they have been FaceTiming with my friend's son, who's one of the students, while he's in San Francisco at the hospital. And I mean, that's the highlight of his mom's day anyway. So I just wanted to just thank them and for their commitment to not just that student, but all of their students.
Any other comments?
And I also, to just piggyback on that, honestly, I know that our special education staff in particular have a very challenging work day every single day, and extremely unpredictable and extremely difficult to plan for. But they pivot and they respond, and they always make sure that the kids get what they need. I hear through the voices of the children themselves how hard their teachers work, and I see the report cards and I see the daily summaries that come to me through them. So I get to have the honor of seeing the kids sometimes after school or sometimes on the vacation time when there isn't school in session, but I do know that these that particular group of staff need to be acknowledged for just constantly believing in positive intention. And, well, no, it's assuming positive intention and continuing to not give up and staying resilient. So thank you all for what you do. And thank you, Dr. Cohen.
I actually would like to also just bring up that I think the entire district, like you and all your principals, have done a huge amount of juggling with the special, like the aides that we don't have, or I think that you guys all should get this award as well, because I think you're all pretty well aware of what happens with our special ed programs, and I think every one of you guys, I mean, I'm glad you're all here, it's awesome, but I think it's a team effort, and even though it is our special ed teachers that are getting this award, I think that you guys also are a part of that, because there's a lot of juggling that goes along, and I think every one of you has probably stepped into one of those classes. So it definitely is recognized on our part, or at least on this side, but I think it's a total district-wide support, and it's awesome to recognize different parts of it, but you guys are all on this as well.
Ditto. It's amazing. Would someone like to move approval of the resolution?
With that being said, I would please like to approve Resolution 10, 2223.
Thank you, Dee Dee, and with that, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Dr. Cohen, for bringing this to us. Thank you. Okay, we're moving on to grants. We have a grant from Martis Camp Community Foundation for Special Friends Program at Glenshire Elementary School.
Okay, Board of Trustees, community. The mission of the Martis Camp Community Foundation is to elevate the quality of life in the greater Truckee community by making a positive impact in the areas of education, youth development, human services, and recreation. This grant is made in order to increase the Special Friends hours with an aid to support social emotional needs of students at Glenshire Elementary. The anticipated benefit will be increasing the number of students that can be served to 100 to 129. Without the additional grant funding, that number would decrease significantly to approximately 80 students per year. So we know that students who are well-adjusted and feel secure in their school environment perform better in school. For many students, the extra attention provided by the Special Friends staff allows their self-esteem and confidence to soar to new heights. It becomes the highlight of their day and allows them to fully benefit from the rich educational experiences provided at Glenshire Elementary. So it is staff's recommendation that the board accept the grant from Martis Camp Community Foundation for Special Friends Program at Glenshire Elementary School.
Thank you. Board questions on this item? Public comment? Would someone like to make a motion to accept this generous grant?
I will make a motion to accept the grant from Martis Camp Community Foundation.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, and thank you to the Martis Camp Foundation and the Special Friends Program. So next we have the consent agenda. Superintendent Geisels, does staff need to remove any items from the consent agenda?
No, we do not.
We don't want to not approve the overnight trip for Truckee High School's football team?
If we do not.
Sorry, Logan and John. Okay, any staff want to remove any items? Okay, would someone like to move the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dee Dee. With that, I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. The next item, the 16.0, is actually listed on our agenda, and we forgot to mention this in the beginning. The CSEA and TTEA groups talk to us every other meeting, and they spoke to us last meeting, and they'll do the next regular meeting. So we are also removing that item. So next, we have a facilities item, and that is request to approve a district-owned site as a Truckee Tahoe Workforce Housing Agency opportunity site for further analysis for potential workforce housing development.
Yes.
Superintendent Geisels.
So Emily Vitas who is back as our Executive Director of the Tahoe Truckee Workforce Housing Agency, and she is here with the follow-up presentation for the board.
All right, good to see you all again.
Good
Am
to
I
have you.
progressing myself or, okay, hi Levita, yeah, thank you. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Quick reminder, we have a few new faces in the audience. The Truckee-Tahoe Workforce Housing Agency is currently a collaboration of 7 public agencies here in the Truckee-Tahoe region. We serve 2,300 public agency employees throughout the TTUSD school boundaries is kind of our legal charge. So currently we have the 7-member agencies that you see here on the screen, founded in 2020, though you all have been participating in this conversation a lot longer than I have with the actual founding of the agency that took about a year and a half between our 4 founding member agencies, of which you were a part of, along with the hospital, the airport, and the public utility district. I came to you on November 2nd to provide a general update on the activities of the Workforce Housing Agency, provided some exciting updates on some big numbers that we've seen over the last year for employee placements and support. Also provided an update on our strategic plan, which is proposing that we actually expand our services to serve a greater public beyond your employees, so your families, your parents, your students, et cetera, and also look at the creation of a 501c3 arm so that we can further unlock public dollars and start to unlock some of the private philanthropic dollars for the specific purpose of development, acquisition, and programming in the North Tahoe Truckee region. We did have a board meeting today, and we presented the draft strategic plan, including what I just presented to you all, and got very positive board feedback. We will be asking our board to approve that plan in December, if we have a quorum, depending on the holidays, and then we will be coming back to the school district board and presenting on that plan and asking for feedback, et cetera. What we want to do is make sure that my board is in concert or feels good about the way in which we are presenting the new strategic pathway for the Workforce Housing Agency. So some pretty big changes coming for us in 2023, very exciting. I spoke to you all 2 years ago, and I remember one of you said, why are we not serving more than just our employees? There's so many people in this region since the pandemic had already hit that really need service. So how do we make sure that we are serving your employees while also starting to look at those beyond just our member charge? So that is what we're doing with the strategic plan. I also just received, while I was sitting here in the audience, the TTUSD specific survey results from our employee housing needs survey. So I'm going to try to integrate some of those results into this evening, but I can also send you that report, and happy to come back again and actually give you a specific results based on your employees, because the last time I was here, it was member agency, all 7 member agencies' responses. So this evening, I'm here for something much more specific. So when I was here on November 2nd, I presented to you a part of that strategic plan effort was taking all of our publicly owned sites, putting them into a bucket, analyzing them, and identifying 4 sites that we would like to move forward with analysis for potential workforce housing development. So tonight I'm going to be speaking to this school district site specifically, the process that brought us there. Let's see. Sorry, this thing is not progressing. But I wanted to show you kind of what I'm asking before I ask it this evening. So I'll get to that side here really quickly. But I will be making an ask this evening for board members to consider unlocking or releasing a site so that we can conduct further analysis on that site. Thank you. Yeah, this is the slide I was looking for. So nope, it is not. Let's see. There it is. I just wanted you to see this before we go into the presentation so you understand what I'm asking of you this evening. So I am asking for the district board to authorize, quote unquote, the release or the allowance for further consideration of a specific site in which I will be giving you details, and also asking that the board acknowledge that this site specifically does not have intended future use. So I'm going to walk you through what that looks like for you and your staff to help us get there this evening. Okay. All right. Still not the right slides. Okay, bringing us back. Here we go. Okay, great. So a lot of work has been done over the last 2 years. I have presented to you all here 3 times on kind of district-owned site analysis details, right? We've had this conversation for a while. I came to you at the beginning of 2022 and asked for you all to allow us to create an ad hoc committee. That ad hoc committee actually decided to go dark for a few months so the Workforce Housing Agency could work on our strategic plan. You all could work on your master leasing or your master planning and facilities planning process and exercise. Since we started having these conversations in 2021, we have met with a lot of people in the community. We've talked with you a lot. We've been meeting with your legal counsel to understand the mechanisms that school districts have to develop workforce housing for their employees and others. We've met with each of you one-to-one, come to present to you a couple times. We've been talking with Placer County TRPA and the town of Truckee because of where these sites are located. We also, as I mentioned, created the ad hoc committee and decided to kind of put it on hold while we conducted all of our analysis between our two agencies, conducted the employee housing needs survey, so we actually have the data that we can utilize to say what is the product we're trying to put on any of these sites. And then finally, we hired Agnew Beck to conduct a 6-month analysis on all of our district-owned sites or our member agency-owned sites, and 3 of the school district-owned sites were a part of that analysis. And really quickly, those 3 sites, Alder Creek site, Kingswood site, and the Rideout sites in the Tahoma area. So part of the strategic planning process, as I said, was narrowing all of our member agency-owned sites. There are 60 to 80 sites. We did the land mapping analysis that I presented to you on back in 2021. We took that analysis and worked with the consultants to take that high-level analysis and then really start to add some metrics and some further analysis. So they had their planning team actually looking through these kind of final 10 sites that we had determined in 2021, then asking them to narrow them down on a number of criteria. So the top 4 that were identified are the school district's Kingwood site off of 267 in between Truckee and North Tahoe, Placer County's Speckled site, which is a small site over on Speckled in Kings Beach, the Public Utility District's Pioneer Center site, which is over 100 acres over there among 3 different parcels, that there may be an opportunity to do a transfer of development rights and looks for some workforce housing there. And then the Forest Service, which you all are aware of, has been a partner of ours for the last year and a half. They are desperately trying to figure out how do we house our people so that we can keep our people here to fight fires. I was just out there meeting with some of their hotshots today who camp out at the site that we are analyzing throughout the summer and winter. So how do we work with some of our other public agencies to identify short and long-term housing solutions for not just our member agency employees, but all of the very crucial individuals that we need to help us run our community. So 4 sites identified through this strategic planning process, and the one that rose to the top for the school district is that Kingswood Estate site, which we'll be talking about this evening. Okay, so the Kingswood Estate site, you all are aware of this site. I know that it has been discussed before for workforce housing development. It has been in your purview for a very long time. It is a 10-acre site, again, located off of 267, kind of right in between Truckee and North Tahoe. The site is currently zoned for 10 acres per unit, again, 10 acres, 10 units per acre on a 10-acre site. And our consultant identified a number of strengths and challenges related to that site, including, allowances and mechanisms for workforce housing development is very ideal. The parcel size is ideal. Location is great. Bringing some of those results in from the survey I just got in my email, we received 20% of the responses came from individuals that are teaching in the North Lake Tahoe region, and 20% all stated in the next 5 years they want to continue to rent in the North Lake Tahoe region. So as we're thinking about a location of these top identified sites, what are the actual statistics relating to your employees' needs as we look at those? Utilities access, and then willing partners. We have already met with the county, TRPA, member agencies, and other public agency individuals on this site specifically. We've also had developers coming to us and saying, what is the opportunity here? I'd love to partner with you if there is an opportunity. There are also challenges in all of these sites, and we need to do further analysis to really understand what the actual opportunity is. What can we put on this site? What are the traffic concerns? What are the neighborhoods' responses, et cetera? So current zoning could need to be changed, though one of your mechanisms as a school district, which we'll get to in the next slide, could allow for us to bypass those zoning restrictions. Working with TRPA, Placer County, you never know. TRPA does have a lot of regulations, as they should, right? Rightfully so, but how do we make sure that we're able to work with these agencies to actually bring workforce housing to fruition? We're not sure how many of the acres are actually developable, so there is a portion of the land that has a slope. We know that there's 10 acres. We need to do further analysis to understand, is it a 3-acre opportunity, is it a 7-acre opportunity, what can you put on that? And then also really need to understand what the neighborhood says about potentially putting workforce housing on that site. When I spoke with you all before, there was concern around what are the traffic impacts? What does the neighborhood think? That neighborhood loves utilizing that site as open space to walk their dogs and go for walks, et cetera. However, me, being a housing advocate, would argue that workforce housing is crucial to maintain the vibrancy of the North Lake Tahoe community, but we need to be able to work with the neighbors and educate the neighbors to identify, opportunity support, et cetera. As I mentioned, some very unique school district mechanisms I presented to you this last time. We have 3 mechanisms that can work in kind of concert together. The top 2 actually, one came before the other and allows for the second to actually be viable. So the joint occupancy approach is the approach that we've been looking at for the last year and a half, which allows school districts to land lease their property to developers to bring workforce housing, whatever the school district's need is, to fruition, and work in partnership with that developer so that they have a way in which they can also see an ROI on that development. And that is made possible through the Teacher Housing Act of 2016. Teacher Housing Act also allows some additional opportunities for school districts. What we'd want to do with further analysis is really get close with Clarissa Kennedy and her team to understand how do we actually use these mechanisms for more efficient development. How do we kind of speed up the process while still making sure that we are doing it in the right way and working with our regional partners to do so? Finally, AB 2295, which was just passed a few weeks ago, Clarissa is currently working to provide us kind of a list of criteria that we would need to meet to be able to utilize AB 2295. So I'm not going to get into all of this, but I want you to know, and you all are aware, there are some really interesting mechanisms that are specific to school districts that we could unlock to understand, pursue, develop workforce housing. Let's make sure I'm hitting all of my points here. Yes. This is a fun slide. I just wanted to throw this in there because there are a number of school districts in California utilizing these mechanisms and working on workforce housing development. Carmen is very familiar with this. Her previous school district is one of the first school districts to be able to bring an opportunity like this to their employees. It's going to have a huge impact on the employees of those districts that are able to access it. Clarissa, your legal counsel representative, is also working with 7 or 8 other districts. And so she is a perfect partner for us to really understand what this opportunity is and how to move forward with this opportunity. So how does the Workforce Housing Agency, what is our role in all of this? We are your capacity, right? You don't have a housing department, so how can we be that for you and understanding what this opportunity is and then bringing that back to you so you all can play a role in this and your staff can as well, right? So determining the need and opportunity, I'd say that we've done that and we are doing that. We're conducting the surveys, we're working with all of the jurisdictions, we're identifying sites, we're conducting, land analysis, et cetera, leading that further analysis, which I'm asking for this evening, leading the development of a request for proposals so we can really understand what are developers saying they can bring to us, at what price, and how are we actually going to finance that. So we really need those details to say this is something that we can actually undertake as a school district, as a workforce housing agency, and as a community. We can lead the community outreach and communications components, so meeting with your neighborhood as representatives of the Workforce Housing Agency as a partner of the school district, and then partnering with you and facilitating in that overall development process, which is just the foundation of it. So it's me working with you and your staff so that you feel like you are playing a role, however, you're not having to contribute all the capacity to be able to do so. So what would that look like? Let's see. We are missing a slide here. There we go. All right. So what is our ultimate goal, right? So we're going to the 4 owners of those 4 parcels that I showed you as kind of our 4 opportunity sites. We're asking the owners of these sites to work with us to put a hold on these sites or release these sites to be opportunity sites for the Workforce Housing Agency. So what does continued due diligence on these sites look like? As a reminder, I'm not asking for the school district to make a commitment to actually release or sell or lease off a parcel. I'm asking for you to make a commitment to being a partner with us in further analysis. So what could that due diligence look like? The ultimate goal for us is how do we put together a request for proposals that allows developers to tell us what they can do on these sites so that we actually have an understanding of the number of units, the size of those units, the amenities tied to those units, Who's going to live there and how can they afford them? How is this project going to be financed? We can make guesses on all of these things, but until we actually put that out and ask for proposals and bring those proposals to you all, we can't actually say we know what this is going to look like and we know what it could potentially cost. So the ultimate goal is releasing an RFP for the development of workforce housing on 1, 2, or 4 of these sites to understand the opportunities on these sites. What does it look like for us to get there? And so I've included a bulleted list here of all of the steps in which we would take as the Workforce Housing Agency in conducting further due diligence on these sites. So it looks like us going to my board, asking for a release of dollars to allow us to bring in a consultant to actually further identify or further analyze those 4 sites, and then bring back to you all and say, the TTUS, perhaps the TTUSD site is the #1 site out of all 4 of these. This is why, and this is the actual product that we could put on this site. This is what it would look like to finance it, et cetera. All of that analysis, again, would bring us to this RFP process. Potentially, if the school district is interested or any of the other landowners are interested in what we see as the results from this due diligence and analysis, we'd then be moving to pursue a developer and work with a developer to actually bring housing to that site. It could be 5, 7, 10 years. We just don't know until we're able to do further analysis on those sites. Let's see, I just want to make sure I'm hitting all of my points here. All right. All right. Yeah, exactly. So this brings us back to what I shared with you originally, what I'm asking of you tonight. I do want to remind you, when we kind of went dark on the ad hoc committee, it was because the Workforce Housing Agency was entering into a period of strategic planning analysis or strategic planning period, and the school district was moving into facilities and master planning. And the 2 things that we wanted to determine was, what is the analysis from our consultant, and what does it result in regards to, are there any school district sites that really worked within that criteria that they placed? But also, is the school district, through your facilities planning, going to release that site as a future site for school development or school facilities specifically. I know that we haven't gotten there yet with facilities planning. And so what we can do tonight is ask for your acknowledgement or your approval for us to move down the pathway with more analysis. And one of the conditions there is for your staff and the team that's working on the master planning, facilities planning, one of the conditions is that they go through that process and put a check mark next to the release of that site for any further or future school facility planning or development. So that could be one of the things that is a requirement of us moving forward with this. I also want to speak to the timeline of the Workforce Housing Agency. We are completing our strategic planning process, of which this is a big portion, and my board will be approving that strategic plan in December or January. So I'm not recommending that as soon as you say yes or no tonight, that we're going to hit the ground running. We're here tonight to share this with you all. You all have been with us for the last 2 years on this, and so we wanted to make sure that we're presenting it to you, talking with you, and asking for approval. This year, knowing that we still have strategic plan approval, you still have some school site facility planning to conduct, but what we want to ask for tonight is authorization that we can consider that parcel as one of our opportunity sites to conduct all of that further analysis that I showed you on the previous slide. So I'm going to go silent there and ask for questions and feedback and see what else we can determine this evening.
Thank you. Superintendent Geisels.
Yes.
I know that you and our CBO have talked about this. What is your analysis of the future need for that parcel by the district?
We've determined that there's nothing that indicates the district would need the Kingswood Estate site for school facilities in the near future. We don't see any facility needs in the long term unless our demographics drastically change. Most of our growth is here in the Truckee area. So we're comfortable with moving forward with further analysis of the site. Of course, understanding that we will evaluate our site with the master facility planning process. But we don't envision the need for ever turning Kingswood Estates into a school facility. So.
Thank you.
So check.
Check.
Although the plan's not formally
I know.
done, but yeah.
Yeah.
Board questions?
When do you expect to get to the RFP?
Yeah. So we've been working with Agnew Beck. They're providing consult on all of this, and they're helping us to kind of create that checklist that you just saw on the previous slide that spoke to all of the due diligence that needs to be conducted. And the discussion was, can we get to RFP by end of 2023? That would be with our landowners saying yes to releasing the homes for further, or the sites for further analysis, my board approving the strategic plan, us being able to unlock the dollars to be able to conduct that analysis. We do not have to conduct traffic studies, et cetera. All of the big pieces that you think about when you think about development don't necessarily need to conduct those activities to put out an RFP. The RFP, based on what Clarissa's team and our consultant has shared, could solely be, this is what our opportunity is. We're asking for developers to come to us and say, what can we do on this site, given the zoning, given the school district's development mechanisms, et cetera. And so our consultant has told us they would like to be helping us with development of an RFP by end of 2023, given we can conduct the other due diligence that's on that checklist that I showed you.
So by that time, you will have an idea of what kind of housing unit you want, be it an apartment or a condominium or a home?
I would say that we have a lot of that information now, given the surveys that we've now conducted recently, thanks to your input to actually pull some of that data that we need to say, this is the number of, proposed number of units that your employees are saying they need. This is the price they say they're needing. This is how many bedrooms they want. One of the responses that I just pulled from this survey this evening was the 20% of your employees that are currently living in the North Lake region that said they would like to continue to rent over the next 5 years have told us they want 2-bedroom units under $2,000, and that the majority of them make between 100 and 150% AMI. So that's just an example, again, pulling the data while sitting here, that we now understand what the need is over there. And I want to remind you all that the development mechanisms that the school districts in California have are for school district employee housing as a priority. So it means that we are looking to your employees to serve, and then if those units are not taken by your employees as the first priority, we're looking at the rest of the community to be able to fill those units and kind of create a community with that housing.
And even though it's called the teacher housing, it's all of our employees.
Yep. Yeah, so all school district employees, but also with AB 2295 and one of the other of the 3 mechanisms, it actually allowed that mission to be expanded beyond school district employees, allowing for that priority, so that school district employee housing units never sit empty. If there isn't a need by your employees, we're able to look beyond your employees to the rest of our community to fill those units.
Galen? Chris?
Could you, at the very beginning of this last portion, you said that you went to answer Galen's question. What was the company that you said who's your consultant?
Oh, consultant Agnew Beck,
Okay,
led by Shauna Doherty, who was the town's housing
Yes, yes,
manager.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
I just thought I heard a different name, which was different than what was on the slide.
Oh, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Ladies?
You answered it. That was it. No, because I just wanted to know the priority of staffing, and it wasn't just teachers, it was all of them. And then there's no more finance, I guess for me, the financial, nothing for financial for us. And that was, you had said that before in the previous meeting, that we would not be any financial at this point. And then your board would then authorize the actual, any other expenses would happen from your board. And then when would we then have more? Yeah, when do we have to pay more?
So yes, we are not going to be asking the school district to contribute any funds to do this. We are going to be asking the school district to contribute staff time, specifically Todd Rivera, because of his expertise all around school district facilities, right? So he has been a crucial partner for us since the beginning, and he just has a wealth of knowledge, so bringing him in to have those conversations. Also, I keep referring to Clarissa, but I am not referring to her firm. So you may know the name of that firm, Danis, Wolver, and Kelly.
Oh, they're quite familiar with DW.
Okay. DWK, we would be asking if Clarissa could continue to provide her consult as she has been over the last year for us to help us understand those development mechanisms that I referenced. So over the last 2.5 years, anytime that we have, or any year when we close a budget and there is a budget surplus, we've been moving it into a reserve fund so that we can utilize those dollars moving forward for opportunities like this. As we know, the first 2 years of our activities were challenged by the pandemic, trying to find our way way in this housing landscape, and now we're getting there. And so we can now access those dollars to be able to pursue some of these opportunities that we've had to set aside in the last 2 years. So the dollars are available. It's a matter of my bringing this to my board with the strategic plan and unlocking them so we can conduct further analysis.
All right, and then the other question you had said that Larissa is doing 4 or 5 other towns, and so are we. Obviously, we're keeping track of all that. It would be great to see how they're doing it, if there's some way we could see the other comparisons, just for comparison.
Yeah, so she's
Okay.
working with 7 or 8 other school districts, and she said that she could provide that information, how they're pursuing that development, but also under AB 2295, that set of criteria that allows us to actually utilize AB 2295. She's working on that for you and for us right now.
Yeah.
So
Are
a
they-
lot of new developments coming up that she
Okay.
can help us to
Similar
understand.
to Tahoe Truckees, Mountain Town type things, or are they totally different?
She utilizes, it's interesting because she's working with some Central California, Southern California, and then Coastal California. And so when we talk about TRPA, for an example,
Yeah.
we talk about TRPA and she says, oh, there's actually an organization on the coast that has to comply with the Coastal Lands Act. And so she's able to utilize her expertise across all these districts, which is very helpful for us. She knows all of this stuff and has been a wonderful help for us over the last year.
Just a quick note on that, I do want to I know that's Kim and Galen's show right now, but I think you guys were in the beginning when we started this conversation. I think you both were pretty, like, let's look at, I know Galen was like, let's look seriously at what are we doing? And then Kim was like, well, I think we're in a really tough spot, we should do this. So you might have had some help in this, both of you. You might have. That's my way of saying nice job.
I would say we wouldn't be here if it weren't for President Zurich and Board Member Larson. They both participated in the ad hoc committee. Galen has lent a lot of time to me for one-to-one calls to talk through this stuff, as has Kim. And so I'm going to miss you both dearly. Crying, laughing tonight, I don't know about the rest of you, but just definitely some laughter and tears, and you've been really crucial in helping us understand all of this.
Thank you. Other questions? Public comment?
Now's your chance, you're already here.
Okay. Board comment or a motion? Galen?
Board comment. This is one of those few issues that we don't agree on amongst the board members. And I'm going to talk to Danielle and Pat about this housing project. It's been going on 2.5 years. And Emily's heard all this too, so she could do it just as well as I could. My initial concern has always been, what's taken so long? I mean, 2.5 years, we're spending $400,000 a year less than that. We've been giving them $100,000 a year, but we got $20,000 back. We're committed for 2 more years at $100,000 each. So where are the units? And if you counted how many times Emily said analysis, you would realize we're in analysis paralysis. We can't get anywhere. And in order to get to the next step, she has to go back to her board and get this eclectic board to act like engineers, and it's not going to happen. At least I'm concerned it's not going to happen. I am totally in support of this parcel of land and that we develop it, like as quick as possible. So, but I just want you two to know that you ought to pay attention to this. It's not happening quickly. It's too broad a focus. I mean, to include the whole Truckee Tahoe area is crazy. That wasn't the point. The point was there were 4 agencies that had trouble hiring people because they didn't have a place to live. We still have that problem, and we're being misled, or we're being going off in different places. I don't see a specific plan to get there. Closest I heard was we'll have an RFP in another year and a month. Well, what about what we're going to build? Are we going to build rentals for brand new hires, or are we going to build homes for teachers who think, now I'm going to start a family and I want to have a bigger home and I want it affordable? We haven't decided that. So that's my frustration, and I won't say any more about it.
It's okay, Galen. We've had these conversations a number of times. I would say, I bet if we talked to Danielle, she would say, these cogs move really, really slow. And for us to say that we might be able to get it to an RFP by the end of 2023, she'd probably say, no, you can't. So, I'm not going to speak for you, but this moves slow. And today when our consultant presented the strategic plan, one of the things that we need to focus on was the word patience. And she said, Emily, this is for you because you're so frustrated that you can't move this stuff forward faster. So we don't disagree on this stuff, but it is extremely challenging work. So you have been very supportive. You've also been very honest. I appreciate it because it kind of keeps me moving forward. You're pushing us to do better and try to work faster, but we're working against some pretty major challenges to bring that housing to fruition. We're trying our hardest. Thank you.
Any other board comments? You're right, we don't agree, but that's okay. So would someone like to make a motion?
Thank you for that, and yeah, I love our board that we agree to disagree. I will make a motion and thank you, Carmen, for your input right there, to make a motion to approve the opportunity to further analysis of the potential site.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 The only thing was, you said,
Yes, I
what,
will.
tomorrow?
We
Sorry.
haven't finished.
Yeah,
Aye.
aye.
Okay, 5-0. Good job.
Next time
Nice
I
work.
come back, I'm going to change the word analysis to something else.
Can you do the presentation?
Thank you
without
all
that?
very, very much.
Thank you very much,
for all
Emily.
your hard work. Thank you. Okay. Next. You can tell her. Okay. Dee Dee's really worried that you guys aren't eating that cake back there, you guys.
They're
Okay, next we have a review and approve our school plans for student accountability for 22-23. Superintendent Geisels.
Ms. Kramer, would you like to lead us on this one?
Yes, and there will be lots of reasons to eat cake after you take a look at these plans. There is a lot to celebrate here. So I'm honored to present on the behalf of all the school leaders that are here this evening, the 22-23 school plans for student achievement for your review and approval. These plans are continuation of the plans that you approved just last spring, just last May. So when you look at them at first glance, they're going to look very similar. But I want you to know that a collaborative process has occurred this fall. The school leaders and their staff reviewed data and worked with the school site councils and worked with the ELAC committees to review the goals, make sure the target is still matching the needs of the school site and the students. And then adjustments were made. They also looked at their action plans and made sure that the strategies were still relevant based on the current fall data and the results from last spring. So they did an analysis in the sections called annual review, would be where you would see most of the new information. And it's a static document, but know that lots of conversation happened to put this together, lots of hard work. Our school leaders are very dedicated to their students, and the site councils and ELACs are involved. And so when you look at the data, the goals are set for the end of this school year, but many of the sites met those goals already in 2022 and had to adjust the goals. So lots of reasons to eat cake, and as a result, I would recommend approval of these school plans.
Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Okay, board questions. Galen? No. Chris? Okay, I have, 5 or 6 questions per principal. Let me pull my document up. Just kidding. Galen and I actually discussed, are we going to ask a whole bunch of questions or are we not? So we're not. But I do have a comment. Any questions? Questions, Kirsten?
I have a couple.
I prepared 5 pages of questions.
Okay, well, go for it.
No, I'm kidding. Comment?
Of course.
I know how much work goes into this, everyone, and thank you for staying so late. I know you're all exhausted, and it's a very busy time of year. So I just wanted to say thank you for all of the thoughtfulness and hard work, and really well thought out and well developed sort of tactical and strategic elements for each one of your campuses. When I very first became a school board member, I attended a what do they call it, conferences, a workshop on working with principals to help them feel both autonomous as well as part of a larger unit. And the presenter said, each principal is the CEO of their own school, and they have a budget, and they have staff, and they have all these things to manage. So it's really impressive and actually very obvious that each one of you regard your campus as sort of your own beautiful little palace, and you really take it very seriously, and you look at every single detail and every child in the eye and every teacher and respect them and all of the hard work that goes into teaching, because teaching is really hard. And this is a very difficult time in education. And I'm nervous about where we're going, but I'm not nervous about our district. I feel ultimately confident that you all know really, you have a good pulse. You have your fingers on the pulse of your campuses, and it's really evident in reading these after being away for a while, 10 days. I came back and spent most of the day today reading these, and I was just like, you know, I had to get my tissue box out. I was like, this is amazing how much work goes into this. And so I'll probably email you my questions so we don't have to take up any more oxygen out of the evening, but just thank you for all of your hard work. And hands down, I couldn't do it in a heartbeat, and I'm just so proud of all of you, so thank you.
My comment was just going to say thanks, that was a lot of work.
Yeah. So I agree with what Kirsten said. There's amazing things in each of these, and I actually did read them. And some of the innovative stuff you guys have done is really cool. Like I mentioned to Hien last night, you know, the pull out for EL folk kids, even though we have transportation issues around it, already seeing amazing results from that tier 2 intervention. Really a cool thing that, and that's throughout all of the reports that you all did. I'll be interested in what other assessments you guys settle on besides the STAR assessment, since you seem to not be happy with that. And so somebody will have to be the data guru up here since Gayla won't be here. But that'll be interesting and good for you guys for looking at alternatives that really are meaningful for you. So I really appreciate that. And even though this is a forward-looking document, although it did start in the spring, and I don't think you guys were here when Ms. Kramer did the presentation on the overall CASP results for the district, and we had heard some misinformation in the community about how our results were terrible, students were failing, and we know that that's not true. And in fact, the work you all did is amazing in 2 years of a pandemic. And seeing the innovation when you were having challenges with kids based on COVID and some of the behaviors that were going on related to COVID and the attendance and et cetera, et cetera. So we gave a lot of kudos, but that really goes to you all and your staffs and the district as a whole. And these documents for me just said, oh yeah, that's why. So it's amazing. Thank you so much. And I didn't want you to have to come here and sit here and think that we didn't bother to look at your work, because we do. So thanks. Okay. Galen?
I couldn't help myself. These, I was looking at these a little differently this time. First off, I went through them and I thought, boy, I'd sure like to be here next year when we get to see the progress of what's going on. I've been talking to some of you occasionally about what's holding up our progress. I mean, why we set goals and we say we're going to do them, we're going to use these strategies, and then we check in again in a year. and they may or may not have happened. And so I pulled a couple of them out, just because they grabbed me. One was Sierra High School. Said they have weekly review meetings with each student. I thought, boy, if you're going to be moving things ahead, you need to check every week. Donner Trails said staff has noted that increased and continuous monitoring of student performance for those at risk and focusing interventions has been the most effective overall. Teachers completed 3 full Plan, Do, Study, Act cycles to support the ELA goals. So I see a lot of Plan, Do, Study, Act in all of the other schools, but it seems to me if they're not frequent enough, it's not going to be as effective. And the other one that caught my eye was North Tahoe High School will close the achievement gap.
Yeah. My daughter just needs to start reading.
Yeah, so I will probably read these next year too. Thank you.
Would someone like to move approval, an acceptance?
I will make a motion to.
Oh,
wait,
sorry, public comment.
Public comment.
Sorry. Public comment? Okay. Go ahead, Dee Dee, sorry about that.
No, I do, yes, I'll make a motion to approve in the school plans for 22-23.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kim, can I just make one comment? I will say, though, and I apologize, but I think I've said the word a couple times and I circled it. I think the fact that I always keep saying that we're a different place up here, and last night when we were down in Roseville, I look at all the people in Placer that are, we're overtaking, I mean, they're sort of overlooking us. We are different, and I think that you guys have made a huge impact on that because you are creative and we're not doing the postage stamp, and I think it's so obvious, and that has come out a couple times in a lot of everybody's conversations, is that you guys are you're not, and again, Dr. Leary would be psyched because you are thinking out of the box, and that's what makes it work, so that's awesome, thank you. Sorry about that,
Okay, it's time for board comments. Kirsten?
No comments.
Dee Dee?
Lynn told me to write it down, so I wrote it down. On Thursday, the 3rd of
Okay.
November, I was invited to go to the resort at Squaw Creek for a celebration of Kids Zone, 50 years in existence, and then they sort of went over all their morphs and changes and the number of kids that they attracted and supported, and it was phenomenal. Really a cool thing to have in our little community. Very, very excited to have been a part of that. I had not gone to meetings, I've gone to the Kids Zone itself, but that was just amazing to see the number of people that were so enthralled with that program and what we have to offer in our community. Did join Carmen, Amber, Chris, Kirsten, and Kim for the Truckee Owl and Donner Trail. They're leaving me.
No, they have to go to a Zoom for the.
Oh, phew. Okay, gosh. Anyway, we did it, we followed Carmen and we did Truckee L and Donner Trail, which was stunning. Great teaching and learning on both sites. And just really fun to see the actual buildings in use. Like we saw them in the beginning stages of construction, we saw them when they were done, and then to see them actually lived in was wonderful. Went to Sierra High on Thursday and met them for their lunch. Lunchtime, I was basically there because I needed employees for skiing, but I ended up hanging out for a while, which was really fun. And I did get to see the art that they had done with their books that they have read, so there was a sort of a preempt of that literature circle time. Then Thursday, on that Thursday too, I did go to the infant room with Step and hung out with Melissa for a while. Just squishables, like it's so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. I didn't have to do the diaper change, so it was good. But no, they're really little, it was so cute. And then there's students and teachers. Like there's just, our community is all there. It was awesome. And then I had a great call with Carmen on Wednesday. We do our sort of weekly, monthly calls just to chat, to check in, which we had sort of slipped off. I mean, I at least slipped off, but it was good. And it's just nice to be able to talk to your CLO without having a crisis. So this was good. I told her I wasn't going to do any more, phone calls unless they were fun. So that was a fun one. How was that? Okay, thank you.
I said my piece earlier, so thank you. I will, however, remind everyone that we do have a special meeting with this board on the 28th of November. It's going to start an hour earlier than usual, so closed session we will have at 3:30 and open session at 4:30, really because we have some travel stuff going on with with you, to get to a conference with the rest of the board. So, yeah, Chris?
So, let's see, I attended the strategic plan for Pathways 2026, or one of them.
Virtual.
Virtual, yes.
You're on the task force.
Yes, the task force virtual meeting. Keep up. And I also accompanied this part of this group to Donner Trail and Truckee Elementary, and was very appreciative of the teachers and the leadership's time, so thank you. That was great to be in the schools. And last night, Dee Dee and I drove to Roseville for our annual trustees dinner, at which Craig Rowe was acknowledged, he was our keynote speaker, but he was acknowledged as a semifinalist for Teacher of the Year for the state of California. So his speech was amazing, and his son was really fun to get to know. And I was sharing with this group earlier that Dee Dee and I did not get to say bye because the line to meet him and thank him and congratulate him was long. So it was a great success for him, and we were super proud to represent TTUSD. And I believe that's it for now. Yeah, thank you.
So I attended the strategic planning committee, and we broke up into little groups, and I was with Amber, who will probably never talk to me again.
Okay. Well, that's the end. We will adjourn to the special meeting on November 28th, and then the next regular meeting will be the organizational meeting for the new board on what day? December 14th. Okay. All right. Thank you.